Well, it's time for another lightning strikes twice. You know what that means. It means we go super fast, one topic apiece, 5 minutes each, and go.
Oh, wait, is it me? Oh yeah, I guess I'm first, huh? So I don't really know like what this would category this would fall into, but it's something that I thought about for a long time, and has bugged me for a long time. And that is, why is it that when you want to go to sleep, the bed is always totally uncomfortable? You're tossing and turning just to get into the right position or the right comfort level. But then when it's time to wake up, the bed is the absolute most comfortable thing you have ever been in.
The bed paradox.
Yes.
Well, yeah, my biggest problem with it is how you're all tired, like super tired. Like as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm gonna fall asleep. And then you lay down and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm awake.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your brain just starts like reminding you of bullshit things from like the day or in the past, or stuff that embarrassing things or whatever. It just, oh, you,
Yeah,
you can't
it's
quiet
irritating.
down.
Like I wish we didn't even have to sleep.
Mm,
Um, like I feel like it's such a waste of my time.
yeah.
Um, like there's so many other things I want to be doing, but then my body just kind of shuts down. I'm like,
Yeah,
now I gotta sleep. Damn it,
I know. And it actually burns a lot of time if you think about it.
right? And everyone's like, like, this is how you recharge. Well, it's like, well, that's eating, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't eating kind of recharge you? Like it
Yeah. I mean, you
gives you
could
all the
like,
fuel and everything.
I guess you could like sit down for a minute or something, and that would
you
be,
know,
you
we
know,
need to develop an alternator for human bodies, so it just keeps us charged all day.
yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
the more we do, the more stamina we
I
have.
know. Well, and the thing is, like, physically, you're pretty okay if you're, kind of pacing yourself throughout the day. Sit down, lay down a little bit or something like that. It doesn't matter. It's your brain that's the problem. That's where
Yeah,
sleeping comes in. It's like the whole, oh, you got it. Your brain has to, like, I don't know what it does when you're sleeping. I guess kind of sort out things and figure out where things go and try to problem solve subconsciously, I guess, or something.
yeah. I I'm actually kind of a big proponent of the nap,
Hmm.
um, because I remember a long time ago reading about like people in the old times. They used to just sleep a few hours and then get up and do stuff, and then sleep a few hours when they get tired and get up and do
Yeah.
stuff.
In fact, there's the thing called biphasic sleep, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It like you sleep 3 hours or whatever, and then get up and do some things, and sleep another 3 hours, and boom, you're done.
yeah, and especially if you've got insomnia and you're not able to fall asleep, and you're
Hmm.
just sitting there stressing about how little sleep you're going to get if you were to fall asleep right now, but you can't fall asleep right
Oh
now because
man,
you're
that's the
thinking about how you
worst.
can't fall asleep
You're
right
you're you're, you're like you're seeing that window narrow as like, oh well, okay, if I fell asleep now, I'd have 4 hours of sleep, and then it's like, oh well, okay, I'd have 3 hours of sleep, and then pretty soon you fall asleep about an hour before you have to get up, and then it's like the
now.
worst thing getting up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I
Well, and
hate
that, and that's the delicate balance with a nap too. Is like if you sleep just a little bit, you feel like you're not going to get enough energy, right? But
that. Hmm.
it's actually kind of the opposite. Like if you sleep like a longer time, like an hour or something,
Hmm.
then you're just kind of like, what if I just stayed in bed? Like you just kind of want to stay there. Like that
And
whole paradox that you brought up in the beginning. It's like your body is just like, oh, you know what? This relaxing thing is kind of nice.
yeah,
Let's
it's like a little
just do
kid,
this
like
all day.
like a little kid, like I don't want to go to sleep, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, and I've heard too also that even if you don't sleep, just simply the act of laying down
Mhm.
in bed for however long does actually rejuvenate you a little bit.
That is true. That is true. Um, there have been plenty, like I sleep like shit always.
Mm.
So there's tons of nights where I'm just laying there and resting, and I might kind of drift in and out of like semi-lucid states and stuff,
Mm.
not really falling asleep, but like like sort of waking dreams and stuff like just some like weird nebulous in between
Yep.
state.
Oh, I
And
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
that still does provide you some rest.
Yeah.
Probably because REM sleep is going on even though you're not actually sleeping.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Like some kind of mild form of REM, I suppose.
yeah, or like a transcendental meditation or something,
Yeah. Well, in
which
fact,
is probably what that is actually.
I think you're right. Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
but it's like, why? I just don't get it. Why the bed is so comfortable when you have to get out of it. Like, can we craft a bed that, like, somehow makes it as comfortable as waking when you want to go to sleep? Oh, man.
That's
That's
called a
time.
sleep number bed.
Yeah. 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 Oh, we all know how those work out.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Quick story, like my dad had one of those, and after he died, I was staying in the house, and I had to go get a hotel after a while because that thing was just crap. Like giant bulges in the
Oh,
like how does air do that? Like
I know. I know. Oh yeah. Well, I remember when we were roommates, you had a bed and it had like a hole in it or something. And I remember it like
hmm,
all night long I could hear in the other room, it was like as it was refilling and then like, over and over again. And those things are like $1,200.
right?
Like what the hell, man?
You'd hope they would work better, but
You would think. Yeah.
not so much.
No. Okay, well, I guess
Well,
it's your turn now.
yeah, I guess this might be kind of a public health and safety. We haven't really thrown too many of those in the mix.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about preservatives in food? Good, bad? Hmm?
Oh, I I think it's not as bad. Well, okay, depending on the preservative used, it's not as bad as people say, like believe it is. I mean, we've been preserving food forever. Salt, right? Packing things
Yeah,
in salt, that's a preservative. Like I
and we
don't think,
still do to this day. If you think
yeah,
about it, like there's so much sodium added to everything.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, and sugar too, which also kind of acts as a preservative, depending.
mhm. Right. Yeah.
Um, sometimes it can make it worse. But I don't. The so there might be a negative health effect from consuming a lot of stuff with preservatives. I mean, you kind of logically thinking about it, if it preserves food, what's it going to do to you? You know, if it keeps bacteria at bay or whatever, there could be a risk to people. However, the benefit is that we can transport foods greater distances and store them for longer periods of time, which I think ultimately is kind of a net positive. I don't know. What do you think?
um, it's something that's been on my mind since moving to Germany because I obviously food is handled much differently here.
Oh yeah.
Um, like restaurants, for instance, at the end of the day, this is like by law, they throw all their food in the garbage, like
Oh
all of it.
wow.
Every single day, they
Huh.
get a new shipment of food and make things fresh and stuff, so that they don't have to because if they don't, like it's not like in America where it's going to be okay a couple of days, right?
Hmm.
Um, it actually might kind of go off a little bit. Um, and like with fresh meats and vegetables and so on and so forth, um, I feel like there's both a difference and also like not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
um, like in a digestive sense, I feel, let's say, healthier
Hmm.
eating here, um, but there's also like I don't know, just the sinking feeling knowing that all that food is going in the garbage. Like,
That really bugs me. I'll tell you something. I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but when I was a kid, like I probably in elementary school, we went on a field trip to McDonald's and we got to see like what happens behind the counter, essentially, like all the back end stuff. Um,
yeah,
And I was shocked because so they had a like a trash bin, like a big, huge one of the big ones, and there was a dude who like took all the chicken McNuggets that were in this little heating thing and just tossed them
Mhm.
into the bin. And I looked in the bin and it was almost full of chicken McNuggets. And I was like, what? What? Why are you throwing like these are perfectly fine? You know? And they were like, well, by law, we got to throw them away after a couple of hours. And I'm like, what the what? No way. Like that should go to people in need. Like there should be you should be able to walk up to the back of McDonald's and instead of it going into a dumpster, it can go into your little sack that you have. Like whoever, just walk up and you can grab the garbage, the stuff that's being thrown away, rather than it just going into the landfill. Like that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I I can see like, you know, things like chicken sitting out a long time can be dangerous.
it could be,
But
yeah.
yeah, like if you're a big conglomerate like McDonald's, you should have some kind of magnanimous policy where you just let the homeless know, hey, just come to the back of any McDonald's and knock on the door and say, hey, you got anything you're throwing away?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
do that, like you don't
Well,
even have to make it like a special trip or anything. Just
no.
have your door open,
Because
basically.
well, because there's always food they're throwing away because of this reason. And
Hmm.
government gets in the way yet again, I think, because they're like, oh, well, that's not safe to eat because they're throwing it away, right? Because we mandated they throw it away. So you can't give it to the homeless. It's like, but they they're taking stuff out of the garbage anyway.
Yeah.
After like way later than that. So why not give it to them basically fresh? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been on this counter for 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, but it's still edible. Like those timelines are engineering like based. That it can last a lot. There's a lot of wiggle room there. So if they're
Yeah.
like, oh, after 3 hours, you got to throw it away. Well, it could probably last 4 or 5 hours and still be safe. They're just a little margin of safety. That oh
Oh, geez. Was
man,
that really 5 minutes?
yeah, yeah.
I didn't even get to go off on greed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. That could be a whole episode too, right there.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big topic. That's something I feel really passionate about too. So,
Yeah.
and we definitely need to revisit that one for sure.
All right. Well, leave shit in the comments if you think that we missed something, and maybe we'll make a whole episode of
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for chilling with us for about 10 minutes ish or so.
it. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing on cool, playing some b-ball outside of the school.